Welcome to Planting Joy Garden. Thank you for coming back. And I wanted to just take 5 minutes in the garden to explain why small is plenty when it comes to a garden. Now, in my opinion, it is better to have a well managed small garden than an overgrown, poorly managed large one. Whether you're growing in 10 square feet or in 10 acres, the maintenance tasks are the same. You have to manage pests, disease, water, and you have to process your harvest. So let's just take a quick look at my squash here. Now, when it comes to squash, one of the big issues is powdery mildew. And as you can see, I have a pretty healthy plant here, but powdery mildew is a big problem for squash. Also, another problem you can face in the garden is dampening off. So if you look at my spinach here, you can see that I've had some dampening off of some of my seedlings. And even though I had great germination, too much water caused my seedlings to dampen off. So that's another issue. One of the other issues we face, in addition to powdery mildew, dampening off, there's weed pressure, and of course there's insect pressure. A small garden allows you better control over the quality of food that you would grow. So here I have my pepper plants. And one of the big concerns with peppers is that they will drop their blossoms if it's too hot. They're also susceptible to sun scald. So I want to make sure that I'm providing my peppers everything that they need. So a small garden truly gives you more control over the quality of food you grow. Regardless of the size of your garden, you have to manage soil amendments. You have to manage the space that you're growing in. You also have to manage your time. Do you have the time to maintain a large garden? And overall, it's all about manageability. So as you can see here, our hot, dry summer has made my ferns and my hostas pretty sunburned. And even though I have a small garden, this is something that needed to be managed. So you have to consider, how much are you able to manage? Is it better to start off small and grow? Or do you want to jump all in and try to keep everything alive? So as I spin around, I just want to show that the area that I have my kitchen garden in is actually around 600 square feet. It's like 25 feet by 25 feet. However, my yard is 12,000 square feet. That's a lot of area to manage. So I chose to keep my garden small at 600 square feet. And as we look around the garden, you'll see that this portion is food production. This portion, except for these peppers here, this portion is ornamental. So of the 600 square feet, I'm actually using 70 square feet to grow food. This portion of my yard, the part that is producing food, the part that needs to be harvested, is getting the maximum amount of resources. My water is going here. If I have to choose whether to water my fruits and vegetables, this portion is getting the water. The perennials, in harsh conditions, they will die back, but because they're perennials, they will grow back the next season. So the priority for me is to care for the fruits and vegetables. Okay, so the resources, the soil amendment, the time, the weeding, the water, the fertilizer is being spent on the food production. So a smaller garden may be the difference between feeling like a steward of the garden or feeling burdened by your garden. So let's just grab a few little of these peppers. And I feel like a steward of a productive garden. A smaller garden requires less help in hands. Oftentimes, gardening can be a solo adventure. We all enjoy the harvest, but usually it's maybe one or two people who actually tend the garden and harvest the goodies. Yes, the whole family is eating the goodies, but we're not all weeding, we're not all watering in the family, and we're not all planting seeds, but everyone wants to eat it. So help of hands might be an issue why you would need a smaller garden. So if you're just starting off, say a 4x4 bed may be the perfect size for learning to grow the skill of gardening. So in this bed, this is a 3x4 bed, and I have squash, carrots, onions, leafy greens with chard. I have tomatoes and basil. So this 3x4 bed is the perfect learning situation. I'm able to grow a variety of vegetables, herbs, things that flower, some things that are leafy greens, and other things are fruit. I'm learning to grow root. I'm also growing vines. I'm growing basil bush. So it gives you a lot of experiences with growing, and it's the perfect way to start off with gardening to see if it's something you enjoy. But if you want to really jump in, consider growing in 100 to 200 square feet. That's ideal for a beginner who wants to produce vegetables to supplement maybe a family of two. If you're considering something larger, maybe 600 to 800 square feet, which is the size of my actual garden, not the size of the yard, but the size of the garden from stem to stern. In 600 to 800 square feet, you can grow vegetables to supplement the diet of a family of four. Now, in my case, yes, I have 600 square feet in this garden, but I'm only using a small portion for food production. The remainder of my garden is completely ornamental. So this bed is production. My two green stalk towers are food production. My raised bed, my containers, and my in-ground beds here are food production beds. The remaining is herbs and ornamental. Now I have the potential to expand and use more of my 600 square feet. I'm producing exactly what I need at this time in my gardening journey, and I'm getting the best of both worlds. I'm getting an ornamental garden and a food production garden all in one. Now, for those of you who seriously want food production in your garden, and these flowers, they don't even look real, but I just clipped these. They look like fake flowers. They're so perfect. But someone who's serious about food production and wants to produce for a family of four, they might consider a garden that's 800 to 1500 square feet. That way they're able to produce food and also preserve for later use. So I have condensed everything to this small space, and I think this is the best garden I've ever had because everything is close at hand. I'm able to manage it. I'm on top of the weeds. I'm on top of the pests. So this has truly worked out for me and has made gardening so enjoyable. So if you're feeling overburdened by your vegetable garden, it is okay to reduce the amount of area you're growing in, or even consider repurposing the areas you're growing in so that you can get the maximum yield from the amount of space that you have in production. Thank you for joining me in the garden. I don't take it for granted that you come back and watch my videos. So thank you and have an amazing day. He gives power to the weak and strength to the powerless.